One of the reasons why high-end residential areas like Muthaiga are often referred to as leafy suburbs is because of the ambience of the place and the cool environment that usually accompanies such areas. That is no different for Muthaiga. This leafy suburb has no shortage of trees, a befitting characteristic considering Muthaiga's name was derived from the Kikuyu word for the green heart tree known as Muthaiga. The bark of the Muthaiga tree was used by the Kikuyu as poison for their arrows. The word was anglicized to Muthaiga as a word that Europeans could be relied upon to remember and pronounce properly, and was chosen by the man who designed the estate, Freddie Ward. The presence of so many trees and plants around is perhaps what attracted Sharad Rao and his wife to the estate. Another is because of the design of this house.
He has built a chapel there.
There's a chapel here?
There is a chapel there, yeah.
Oh. This is perhaps the only house in Nairobi with an inbuilt chapel within its compound. So it belonged to a priest?
It belonged to a priest, yes. Here. This one.
Oh, this?
Yeah. This is the chapel.
So somebody actually told you they got married here?
Yeah, somebody got married here. And that was the last Englishman I met. And I tried to find some history of this, but nobody was able to tell me. I don't know. I couldn't come across anybody. I think most of them are dead and gone by the time we moved here in 1972. So we couldn't find anybody. There was one person who gave us the information, just one piece of information, but he also died soon after, so we couldn't get much in. So this is the chapel we have, and yeah, it's a nice place, you feel, and that's why, there is a lot of peace. I think when there is, people have prayed here so much that many people come here and they say, we get a kind of peace here, tranquility.
But the chapel is no longer in use. The couple has since converted the place into this rather comfortable looking guest room.
Yeah, here there was this pulpit, little bit raised land and little bit, so we have just made it flat, and then when my children come, we put all the beds here.
This would have been my favorite room.
Yeah. It's very, very peaceful when you actually come and sit here. Only thing, it is not so bright because it's a chapel.
Yeah.
But when I came here and this was empty, and whenever I entered, I felt, oh my goodness, it's so peaceful, and some kind of a feeling you get, good feeling, nice feeling you get.
Very nice. Most of the land acreage where Muthaiga is now located was initially a mixture of residential and farmland. In fact, in 1901, the white settlers began using part of what was then over 2,000 acres of land into a dairy farm. Mrs. Sunbach Baker, who owned tracts of land here, began the first dairy production of milk and butter in the entire East African region. Years later, Muthaiga would be known as the British East Africa Protectorate's first and most thriving dairy farm in the entire region.
And she was being called Queenie, so they used to call it Siagi, Queenie. So she used to produce milk and to produce butter, as it were.
But farming is not the only legacy left behind of this place. The history of Muthaiga Estate cannot be talked about without mentioning the Gertrude's Children's Hospital that in the past began as the Gertrude's Children's Home, a goodwill project spearheaded by then colonial master Colonel Edward Grogan in honor of his late wife Gertrude. This particular facility becoming the first of its kind in East and Central Africa, specializing in the care and treatment of young children. The facility was officially opened in 1947 and was initially known as the Gertrude Gardens Children's Home before it was later changed to the Gertrude Children's Hospital. The hospital's legacy has been attributed to powerful colonial businessman Edward Ewart Grogan, who was known as Kenya's good old man. Grogan is known for the immense love he had for his wife, Gertrude, that he walked from Cape Town in South Africa to Cairo in Egypt to prove to Gertrude's father that he was worthy enough for his daughter's hand in marriage. That incredible journey is now famously known as the Cape to Cairo Walk.
The history of Gertrude's Hospital to Muthaiga is linked to the founder of the hospital, who is Colonel Grogan. So Colonel Grogan, many years ago in 1947, gave this piece of land and formed a trust in honor of his late wife, Gertrude, with the intention that would establish a hospital, a school, or a children's home. So it's actually started as a children's home, but the board of trustees who were left in charge of the trust started a hospital. And so the hospital is really linked back to Colonel Grogan, who established the hospital and gave this land to establish it.
In its 71 years of existence, Gertrude's Children's Hospital has grown immensely. The facility, since the year 2000, now has 15 branches countrywide.
Although this hospital is a children's hospital, in addition to taking care of the children, of the people in the community, it also provides emergency care to the people who stay around the community. So be it adults or children, they will first come here in case they have an emergency before they go to an adult hospital.
The Gertrude Children's Hospital in Muthaiga has a bed space of 100, but the entire chain serves approximately 1,100 young patients daily, translating to about 320,000 patients countrywide annually.
Would I be wrong to say perhaps this most likely was the first children's medical facility in the region?
So Gertrude Children's Hospital was the first children's hospital in Eastern Africa, and you might say the largest in Central Africa. It still remains the largest children's hospital in Eastern Central Africa. Right now, I think by patient population is actually the biggest children's hospital in Africa right now. And so we serve both the community in Kenya, but also we get a lot of referrals of patients from the Eastern Central African countries.
Being the largest children's hospital in Africa, the CEO tells me, coupled with the rich history attributed to Gertrude's Hospital, helps them maintain a sense of perspective that all they're doing is not for short-term benefit, but rather is attached to a greater purpose and legacy associated not only with the man Grogan, but also the estate of Muthaiga, where the head office is located. It's a legacy that some business operators in the area, like motorbike operator Joseph Mwangi, may never truly understand. I imagine it must have been hard for him to introduce his business here, in an estate where a majority of the residents own and drive cars.
Watu walikuwa wanipokei, hata wakazi wapo walikuwa wanitambui. Nilikuwa na shida sana. Sababu ya kusimama, mali ya kusimama, kuna mtu alikuwa ananipokea. Sababu hii biashara ilikuwa mgeni kwa sehemu hii.
He had to enroll and become recognized by the Muthaiga Residents Association for him to be allowed to operate within the estate, and in order to gain enough credibility to gain customers.
Watu hapa huwa si wagamu wala si wa, ili ni watu wana suspect, ni watu wa suspicious sana. Huwa wapendi wageni. Mara mingi huwa wanaogopea security yao. Kwa hivyo mpaka wakujue ndio watakupatia biashara.
But nearly 10 years since he began working in the estate, Joseph is holding his own. And if you ask him, he wouldn't ply any other route aside from the Muthaiga one.
Hapa tunapenda sababu barabara iko sawa, hali ya mazingira pia. Hata kama mimi ni bodaboda, ukiniangalia unaona vile niko, si kama kawaida kule kwenye mashimo, kwenye maji. Unaona? Sasa si watu tunapendelea hapa pia katika pande ya maintenance ya pikipiki. Nakuwa kama pikipiki kama yangu ina mwaka na unaona bado iko mpya.
And he is right. Roads here are as smooth as butter. The only turbulence you'll ever experience in Muthaiga are the occasional bumps located at strategic points within the road's network.
Some, if not most estates, usually have one form of challenge or another. That doesn't seem to be the case in Muthaiga. Do you as residents have any challenges?
We have a challenge. Our challenge is with others wanting to come into Muthaiga, with others wanting to come up and put up commercial properties here. They want to put up restaurants, they want to put up flats, they want to put up shopping centers. That is the challenge, all right? And that we have been able, to, fortunately, to contain. And we have a very good rapport with the County Council of Nairobi. In fact, I was there this morning to meet with the planning department for these kind of issues. And as I say, we have a good rapport and we are able to keep it in check.
Yeah. Why, and I'm speaking here on behalf of perhaps the common mwananchi, because that same challenge was highlighted in Kileleshwa when I covered there, Kilimani, as well as Lavington. But for the mwananchi on the ground, they don't understand why would residents not allow the coming up of commercial buildings or restaurants or shops along the road. Perhaps can you explain a reason why that is not allowed in such areas?
If we allowed it, then we would be like any other. I mean, we would become a parklands or we would become a westlands, and we are very keen to keep up the neighborhood as is now, and almost all the residents, not almost, all of them, unanimous on it, that as far as possible, we want to keep it out. I mean, there may come a day when we may not succeed, and it might start changing. But for the moment, we have been able to control it.
That rich, exclusive feel.
That's right, yeah. Not because we want to be exclusive, it's because we want to preserve the area as it now is.
Timothy Utieno, KTN News.